This is me again, coming to you from inside of my car, spiritually speaking 7. And I got a little bit of sniffle, so pardon me. I'm doing a video inside of my car again because it's the only time I can get away from the children. And unless they're at school, and usually when they're at school, I'm working and doing something else. So you got to forgive me. At some point, I'll be able to pull off a video in my house. I have some that I've done in my house, but lately I have not been able to do that. And so here I am doing it from inside of my car at nighttime on the way to Home Depot to get some water. With that being said, this video here is about sign overlapping. Okay, sign overlapping. All right, what is sign overlapping? Sign overlapping is when you hear people telling you about a sign. For example, let's say Taurus. And me as an astrologer, when I'm hearing people talk about certain signs and they're telling you what they know about these signs, I'm listening really well. And as I'm listening, I hear them saying things about the Taurus that sounds more like a Gemini trait or sounds more like a Aries trait. And the individual that's talking about the sign is not aware that they're doing this because they're new into astrology. So they have good intentions. They just want to share what they believe they know. But me being a vet, I consider myself a vet in astrology. I just want people to get the information as clearly and truthfully as possible. So I'm here to fine-tune those accidents of misinformation. And so they have good intentions on doing it, but it's not the truth. Okay, it's not the truth. Let me help you to understand something. Every sign has its own attributes. Every sign. So you can't say a working sign is a lazy sign unless you're going to pinpoint the fact that, yes, this person's sun is in this sign, but this person's Mars is in this sign, and that's the reason why this person is lazy. Okay? It's not their sun part that's lazy because, Capricorns work. Cancers work. Libras and Aries, they work. They make shit happen. They get out there and get projects started. Mutable signs are workers too. Fixed signs can work, and they will work if they have no choice but to. But if they can get away with not working and still have money and food and roof over their head and whatever clothes and stuff they need, they will take that as well. If they don't have another attribute in a chart that's going to cause them to be over prideful or, not want to be looked at a certain way. See, all these factors come into play because every chart has layers to it. And I want to say this too. No matter what your chart has in it, the reason why astrology is so important is because once you understand the energies that's flowing through you, instead of you letting the energies rule you, you can rule over it if you choose to. And what is that called? That's called free will. So there's no such thing as a debilitating chart, and there's no such thing as a bad chart. Okay, whatever challenges you came here with in your chart, they're here to push you towards your better self. But you got to know that's what it's here for. You got to know that's why you have these challenges in your chart. But I don't want to get too far off the subject of sign overlapping. Okay, every sign rules a house. Every sign is ruled by a planet, and every planet is an energy. Okay, so for example, I'm a Capricorn. Well, I'll say I have Sun in Capricorn. I've been trying to get away from saying I'm a Capricorn because I'm not just a Capricorn. I was born with Sun in Capricorn. Mercury in Capricorn. I was born with Moon in Virgo. I was born with Mars in Taurus. So I'm not just a Capricorn. Okay? So it's going to be some things about me that is Capricorn. There's going to be some things about me that's Virgo. There's going to be some things about me as Taurus. And other attributes that I have in my chart, which I won't go into that. But you have to understand which parts of me is compartmentalized into those particular signs. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, so like I said, every sign rules a house. So in that house has its own energy. You can't take an energy from a first house and put it into a second house. You can't do that. The first house is a cardinal house. The second house is a fixed house. You can't take cardinal energy and put it into fixed energy. You can't overlap those energies. You cannot do that. Okay? And I see people doing this all the time. You know, I hear people saying, oh, Tauruses, they get mad quick. They go off quick. Then they want to beat you up. Or they yell at you and they scream at you and they throw tantrums. Well, first of all, Taurus is a quiet sign. It's a peaceful sign for the most part. But the opposite of peace is war. So they can bring that war to you too if you keep messing with them. But it's going to take a long ass time for them to get there, to get to that point. You had to have been fucking with a Taurus for perhaps some years before they even go off on your ass, because it's a fixed sign. It's a fixed sign. They slow in everything. They slow when they eat. They slow how they move. If you got a Taurus that's got mostly earth or water in their chart. If you got a Taurus that's got some air or some fire in their chart, they might move a little faster. But it just depends on what their free will chooses to do that day. They might want to deal more so, or let their Taurus energy come through more, where they're more patient. But then tomorrow they might want to let their Aries energy come through, where they doing shit real quick and real fast and not really thinking before they doing it. Because you have free will, for the better or the worse. You choose to use your which energies you want to use in your chart, knowingly or unknowingly. And what I mean by knowingly or unknowingly, like for me, being a Capricorn, I was depressed for many years before I got into astrology. I didn't know I was depressed. I thought something was wrong with everybody else. But once I found out that depression was a Capricorn attribute, that's when I became aware of what this energy I had over me, which was called depression, was. I knew I had something going on, but I didn't know what it was. So astrology brought me to the awareness of what it was. And so once I seen that Capricorn was prone to depression, I said, oh, hell no, I don't like this shit. I understand why family and friends don't be wanting to be around my ass. I'm a fucking drag. I make them feel depressed because the energy is so thick. I make them feel depressed. I said, I got to do something about this. So as I got deeper and deeper and deeper into astrology and came to realize that my rising sign was Gemini. Even though I came to realize that my rising sign was Gemini, I was always expressing my Gemini side. And in my Venus and Aquarius, I was always expressing that too. But my Capricorn part was coming through stronger because I was choosing to let that come through stronger because the energy was so powerful. It was running me. It was running me instead of me running it. So when I became more aware that, became more consciously aware of my astrological makeup, I began to exert free will. And I chose to be the best that I can be, to work with the positive sides of the energies in my chart. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I relapse every now and then back into the challenging side, but I'm very aware that that I'm not going to stay in relapse phase for long. I got to bring my ass up out of that. And so I'm using the energies of my chart the way that I want to use them. I'm working them. I'm the puppeteer of my own energies. It's not no outside force taking advantage of the energies that I have in myself because it feels as though I'm not aware. I'm very aware of my energies. So if I do anything out of pocket or if I do anything good, I'm very aware of it. Okay? So this is why sign overlapping is important, because especially when you're teaching it to people who know it's something to astrology and they're trying to help themselves, it's important that they understand that. Because if they do have something in that sign that you overlapping it into and they don't know this, they won't know that they can fix it. They don't know which area they need to work on. Like if they got a moon, if you're telling them about their sun sign and you're overlapping attribute of their moon sign into there, they need to know that that's their moon sign, so they can understand that the challenge is coming from their emotions. Okay, so like getting back to what I was saying about depression. Okay, some people might say you can put depression into the 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces, or you can put depression into the 4th house, which is ruled by Cancer, or you can put it into the 8th house, which is ruled by Scorpio. Some people might say you could put depression into those houses, but no, you cannot, because depression is a Capricorn attribute. It's a Capricorn attribute. Now, the only time depression is going to go in those houses is if, let's say, someone's rising sign is Aquarius. That's going to make their 12th house Capricorn. So the 12th house is always going to be ruled by Pisces. But once you put Capricorn on there, now that house has Capricorn energy on top of it. On top of that Pisces energy, it has Capricorn on top of it. So now we have depression, or we have, let's see, I won't say possibility, but we have depression influence in that house. Okay? All right? And so if Saturn travels into that house, not if, but when, because it's going to go through there. When Saturn travels through that house, you got depression in that house too. So that's, or if you got a planet in that house that's being aspected by Saturn, you got depression in that house now. But naturally, depression does not belong to that house. Does not belong there. However, it can end up in there. It's going to be some astrologers that's probably going to disagree. Go ahead and disagree. I'm open to hear what you have to say. But you cannot overlap energies from one house into another. Every sign is distinct. Every sign is distinct. But because we have an astrological makeup where when we was born, every planet fell into a sign, giving us layers and attributes and influences from other signs, it's easy to overlap them. But you want to understand, you still want to understand where the energy is coming from. Because the more you know the energy, the more you can rule over that energy instead of letting that energy rule over you. It's very important to be the ruler of yourself. Knowledge of self. And so that's the reason why I'm going to do this video. So from this video, you should be able to understand that there's no such thing as a debilitated chart. There's no such thing as a bad chart. Okay? There's no such thing as giving attributes of one sign to another sign. Can't do that. You can't do that. Okay? People do it all day long, but I don't think it's cool because it's misinformation. Every energy is very distinct. It's distinct. Okay? From this video, you should have gotten that no matter what your astrological makeup is, you have free will. And within that free will, there's a spectrum from the beginning to the end. You can be, you can flop back and forth on energy, from negative to positive, from negative to positive, or you can meet somewhere in the middle and balance the energy. It's up to you. You know, or you can be balanced and then flip over into, you know, a little negativity and flip back. It's up to you. Or you can flip over into the positive and too far to the positive side and then have to come back to balance, because too much positivity is not good. You know, and too much negativity is not good. You need to be balanced. Okay? And you have the free will to choose to do that. So if you have a bunch of squares in your chart, a friend of mine who's very serious vet in astrology, he said that squares are windows of opportunity. And they are. They're squares and windows of opportunity. I got Mars square Venus. I got Mars square Venus in my chart, man. And man, I appreciate that energy. I appreciate it, man. It's made me become very, very, it's caused me to become very, very patient in relationships. It's caused me to become very, very patient in relationships, because there's an energy about me that people feel that makes them think that I'm going to go off, because I do have it in me, having Mars square Venus, you know, or that I could be argumentative, you know, and when I was younger, I was argumentative, but now I don't want to argue. I never wanted to argue back then when I was arguing, but the energy was teaching me patience. It was teaching me how to better my, I don't know how to explain it. I love, okay, I love squares. I love squares, okay? I love squares. I'm just going to say that. If you got some squares in your chart, be happy about it. Those are your challenges. Look forward, like your challenges. Love your challenges because they're here to make you a better you. If you got a square in your chart, love that square. Love that big old square in your chart that creates a grand cross. Love it. Because it's here to make you, turn you into the best you can be. You know, but as long as you know what the challenges are, every time you go out there into the world, you'd be like, okay, I know I'm finna get challenged on this part today. I'm gonna get challenged on it. But squares can be like this. They can nudge you. What they're doing is they're waking you up. They're bringing you into consciousness. So what happens is, sometimes you don't realize that you're arguing with somebody because of the square energy on your chart until after you've done it. So it's a couple of times that's going to take for you to, get control over it to the point where you can say, I'm not going to give them what they think what they think I'm going to give them. They think they know me, but I know myself better. And today I'm choosing to not go off. Today I'm choosing to be quiet. Today I'm choosing to listen. Today I'm choosing to be patient. Even when the square aspect makes me want to go off. Just for the fun of it. And I think that, once you become aware of these energies, this is the reason I think that these energies is the reason for rituals. The reason why people practice rituals, because it gives you, when you do rituals, you have an opportunity to have your time where you could express your anger in a positive way. You have your times when that's why a lot of people who do acting, they get a lot of stuff out through their acting. As you know, acting can be a ritual. Role playing is ritualistic. It gives you an opportunity to express an energy in a positive way, in a safe environment, and then go on back. Once you get that out of you, you go right on back to the positive, to the positivity. Well, that's positive too, but you get what I'm saying. You go back to your balance. You go back to your balance. Okay, you can get off balance in a safe environment. You got people around you that's participating in this ritual and helping you out, and then you go back in. It's like some people who go do ayahuasca, and they have people around them when they're doing it. So when those people who do the ayahuasca go on their journey, they're safe because there's people around them that's participating in this ritual. It's the same thing. I love astrology. It just took me into so many things. So on that note, I hope that you guys all got that you have free will over yourself. And I hope that you all got from this video to get to understand and know the energies of your chart. And to study the houses. The houses are very interesting, because when you see planets in those houses, then those are the areas of your life that's lit up. Is where them planets landed at. That's the areas of your life that's lit up right now. All your houses are going to get lit up because the planets travel through them, and when they travel through there, they're coming in to bring their influence. Okay, that's the only time that you're gonna have some overlapping. That's the only time that because you're gonna have, like, if you have Saturn rules the 10th, so when it goes into the 11th, you got Aquarius having Saturn influence. That's the only time, but still the energy of Saturn is still separate from that Aquarius energy. Is still separate from it, but they are coming together for whatever reason you need to learn in that area of your chart. So knowledge of self, power over self, you get these things through understanding the energy of your chart, and keep the energy separate until it's necessary for you to bring them together. And on that note, close out. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something from it. I hope you liked it. If you did, like it down at the bottom. Don't forget to like the video. And on that note, I am going to close out. Peace. Thanks for watching.